This is so wholesome. Oh my god. I'm gonna get diabetes. So we are on our first route with Annalise. At the time I recorded this video, I didn't realize that fucking piece of shit. At the time I recorded the video, I didn't realize that I had actually chosen Annalise as a route because I thought this was more like Katawa Shoujo, where you had a bunch of different choices that didn't explicitly have you choose among the characters, but that's just how that worked out in this game, and it seems very obvious in hindsight. So I may express some confusion at some point during this video. I'm like, what? I'm on Anna's route? What? But anyway, last time we saw one of Katja's rehearsals. We met her friend Nell, who's autistic, and we had kind of an unsettling conversation with Katja where there was like some definite tension that arose, and stupid fucking thing. And Erik couldn't really figure out where that came from. And this is the start of the really interesting part of this game, which is exploring how these different mental illnesses can impact interpersonal relationships, which I think is one of the things I was looking forward to the most, because they could play it safe and just, portray everybody as having their own little quirks or whatever, but unless they actually explore the conflicts that arise because of those issues that people are working on, it can be kind of flat. But thankfully this game does a very good job of it. But yeah, we are picking up where Erik is trying to ask Anna to help out with setting up for the festival, which, based on her very asocial tendencies, makes it seem unlikely that she'll accept, but maybe she will. We'll find out. So, hope you enjoy. It takes me a while to figure out how to approach Anna about this. My own personal doubts about asking her in the first place prevent me from being totally direct about it, but I don't want to turn it into a big deal either. I just can't think of a good way of working it naturally into our conversations. The next morning I decided it would be better to ask in person than via text. After maths would be the perfect opportunity. The class passes uneventfully. I get Anna's attention in the corridor outside and take her near imperceptible wave in the corner of my eye to mean that it is not a bad time to talk. Morning, Anna. The corners of her mouth curl a little in a smile, but also in apparent curiosity. Oh, she's adorable. How you doing? She shrugs and rolls her eyes a little. Mondays, the expression says. Not worth getting her phone out for, apparently. I need to stop beating around the bush and just ask, don't I? Hey, I volunteered to help Ella out with preparations for the gala. Anna frowns at this, puzzled for a moment. The celebration for DANKFEST. Her eyes widen and her eyebrows rise in understanding, but she appears puzzled again. She looks at me, perplexed. Well, she didn't give me much of a choice, really. She crosses her arm and smirks. Yeah, exactly. Ella, Anyway, we need an extra pair of hands. She looks left and right at the students surrounding us. Well, she suggested I ask you. I wonder why I didn't want to admit that it was my idea. Her eyebrows rise again, this time in clear surprise. I'm not sure I've ever paid so much attention to somebody's facial expressions before. Time is frozen for a moment as Anna appears lost for words, but not in the good way that suggests they're so happy they don't know how to respond. This is not the good kind of wordlessness. The doubts I'd had coming back rushed me. But there's something that I can't identify in her expression too. Confusion? Conflict? The moment passes. She shakes her head, though not assuredly, not quickly, not the gesture of someone who is sure of what they are saying. And the expression on her face is now even less scrutable. That's okay, that's fine. It's pretty much what I expected. I chuckle involuntarily and try to smile sincerely. That's fine. It sounds like it's going to be really boring anyway, and honestly, I don't think there will be enough work for 3 people. I bet Ella was just covering all the bases, This isn't strictly truthful. Ella seems more the sort of person that would only ask for help if she thought it was truly necessary. But Anna seems so relieved to hear that it's not a big deal that I feel no guilt for the tiny lie. Just thought I'd ask in case you had nothing else going on at lunch today. She shakes her head, more surely this time. Just don't feel like it? She nods. Fair enough. We fall silent for a moment. I wonder how meaningful this is. I don't know why I agreed to do it, really. Anna looks at me, clearly amused but apologetic. Then, apparently deciding that facial expressions aren't enough, takes out her phone. You'll probably enjoy it. And she gives me an expression that says, chin up. Maybe she's right. Just a shame not to have her company. You sure you don't want to join us? She doesn't respond immediately, as I expect her to, but hesitates. Then she slides her phone back into her pocket and shakes her head gingerly. Okay. No worries. Oof, better get to class. Oof. Yeah, it's kicking the what? Kicking the high? I show her my watch, and she smirks. See you later, then. She nods, smiling slightly, though there's still something about her expression that I can't read, and heads off. Ella wasn't kidding about needing help. As I enter the room she told me about, it immediately becomes clear just how understaffed she was. God damn it. Oh fuck! I should have chosen the twins, but like Natalia is 4th or 5th on my list. I figured that she's probably the only person that's dateable out of those 3. The obvious choice would have been to ask the 3 people to help out, but I guess not. Fuck me. Among all the art supplies, poster boards, thick reams of paper, and half-finished banners, I almost said bananas. And half-finished bananas is just Ella and Isolde. Oh, Isolde. Okay, alone in the middle of the room. Ella turns and perks up when she hears me knock. Isolde doesn't even look away from her work. Hi, how did it go? Not well. I explain what happened with Annalise. It doesn't take very long, and Ella gives off the impression that she sort of saw this coming a mile away. Sorry she turned you down, Erik. Don't take it too personally. It's just the way she is. I think back on our interaction. I don't know, for a moment it seemed like she was going to say yes. Really? She looks thoughtful for a moment. Well, she's not here now and we need to get started. Maybe if we need help on another day, you could try asking again? Yeah, maybe. Or get fucking Lena, goddammit! No use wasting time, it's a daunting task, but we get to work immediately. Ella hands me the scissors and I get to work cutting out letters she's already drawn out on colored paper. I'm sorry if I'm so hung up on Lena, but like, you can't put a badass girl with a fucking Hannibal Lecter mask in a game and not expect me to be like, I want to go after her! I slept surprisingly well last night. Who knew papercraft could be so strenuous and tiring? I suppose doing the same repetitive motions for a long time like that can take its toll. My body agrees with this supposition, my shoulders in particular, which ache even after a hot shower the next morning. It makes me think a little of the poor condition I'm in. I'm sure that wouldn't have tired me out in the past. By lunchtime, though, I'm starting to feel better. Still a little tired somehow, but the eggs are gone. The eggs? The aches. I head into the cafeteria a little later than usual, after going for a quick walk around to stretch my legs, and by the time I've got some food, there are a few occupied tables with any free seats, and none with anybody I recognize. So instead, I find one to myself. I don't mind. I settle down for a quiet lunch, getting started on a toasted brie and cranberry panini, which I found is one of the most reliable foods the cafeteria produces. It's good. Oh shit! No, that's gonna be for the blooper reel that I'll never make. I'm halfway through it when a shadow falls over the table, and I look up. Lena! Yeah, whatever. Anna has approached without me hearing, and now stands over my shoulder, looking past me at a nondescript section of the table. Hey! She glances in my direction, briefly making eye contact, looking anguished. You okay? She looks around the room to make sure nobody is watching, then sits next to me, exhaling deeply. I expect her to say something, or rather, type something. Instead, she just gazes, eyes unfocused, at the table in front of her. Anna, is something up? Her head rises to look at me again, her anguished expression all the clearer close up. She breathes deeply. Whoa! She fucking talked! Her voice catching in her throat, she shakes her head and instead reaches for a pocket in her hoodie. Holy fuck, she actually started what? As she does so, she looks angry with herself. I feel almost disappointed. Unless I've somehow forgotten, I think that might have been the first time I've heard her voice. But it was such a short, quiet sound that I barely heard it. But do you know how significant that is? The fact that this girl who never, ever speaks a word and only communicates through phone was almost about to verbally communicate with you? Do you have any idea how important that is? That's incredible. I'm distracted from my thoughts by a small gasp, and Anna's expression changing to one of minor panic. She pats an empty pocket, her fingers searching for something, but there's clearly no phone in there. Must have left it in her room, I guess. Apparently resigning herself to this fact, she pulls a paper napkin from a holder on the table and a plastic ballpoint pen from a different pocket in her hoodie. After scribbling on it for a few seconds to get the pen working, she writes something out and slides it over to me. Can we go somewhere quieter? Her napkin scribbling is more grammatically correct than her text, at least. I wonder what she wants to talk about that needs privacy. Yeah, of course, hold on. I mean, she probably wants privacy for any conversation ever in general. Just having a conversation with one person is probably stressful enough to her, but like being in the whole crowd of people? Dude, I'm getting flashbacks to how I was in freaking high school. Jesus. I wasn't that bad, but I was almost that bad. I wrapped the second half of the panini in another napkin, thinking that Anna may not have eaten lunch, or indeed anything at all today. Okay, let's find somewhere. A familiar stairwell near the library takes us away from the lunchtime corridor crowd. As we sit, Anna takes another deep breath, this time pulling out a notebook and writing something out on it. It reminds me of when we met for the first time, which really wasn't long ago, now that I think about it. Sorry that I didn't help you and Ella out yesterday, it says in rushed scribbly letters. Oh, seriously, don't worry about it. We got through plenty of work, it's okay. Ella didn't mind, did she? She writes. No, not at all. I think she understood. I take care not to mention the fact that indeed Ella expected Anna to say no. She pauses for a moment, then starts writing something, scribbles it out, turns to a new page, writes something else, then scribbles that out and turns to the page again. Sighing, she gazes at the wall on the other side of the corridor, eyes glassy and unfocused. You really don't need to feel bad about it, Anna. If Ella asks for help again, do you want me to ask you again? She looks surprised that I'd offer, but nods without hesitation. Oh, that's adorable! Then I will. I think we got pretty much everything done. I have a feeling Ella didn't really need 2 people to help. Well, she did. I won't tell Anna that, though. It would only serve to worsen her guilt. Oh shit, she keeps trying to set me up with people, you know? Oh god, why did you mention that? That's the worst thing you could have said. Maybe. I don't know, I'm not a people person. Her look of surprise amplifies, her mouth forming a perfect tidy O, and she writes out another note. She tried to set you up with me? Well, not you specifically. She's desperate for me to have a date to the gala for some reason. I mean, I appreciate it, I suppose, but I've only been here a week. I'm not that desperate. But no, it was me that suggested you, actually. Somehow she manages to look even more surprised. She writes out a new line, this time not hesitating at all. Thank you. I'm puzzled by this. What for? It was me asking you for help. And I chuckle, though Anna's expression changes. I begin to realize what she meant. She writes something else, nonetheless. Just for thinking, oh, that is so cute. That's so cute. For a moment, I feel pity. I chase that feeling away quickly, though, irritated with myself. Oh, you don't need to thank me for that. You were the first person I thought of. Not quite, but, you know, whatever. Besides, I think almost everyone else has other stuff going on. They probably wouldn't have had time to help. But no, that's not the main reason. Anna smirks a little as I start to bluster, and I catch myself before it goes any further. You know what I mean. She writes another small note. Yeah, I do. I look at it for a few seconds, and believe it wholeheartedly. This is so wholesome, oh my god. I'm gonna get diabetes. We sit for a moment without needing to say anything else. I glance at Anna, and while I'm no expert at reading faces, her expression is now free of anxiety. Or as close as I've ever seen it. I shift a little on the concrete steps, and something rustles in my hand. My forgotten panini. Hey, have you eaten anything today? She shakes her head, simply. I hand her the panini. Here. I haven't touched that half. It's a little cold. She takes it, giving me a small smile, and we return to our comfortable silence as she nibbles away at it. It takes her a little bit to finish, but that's okay. I look around us as she eats. Nobody notices us as they walk past, or if they do notice, they don't think anything of it. That's actually a really good indication that you found somebody that you can really get along with, is if you're both comfortable with silence. What the fuck am I talking about? I'm not a relationship counselor. When she does finish, she folds the napkin after dabbing her mouth with it and tucks it into a pocket. Then she takes out her notebook again, writing out something else for me. Thank you again. The note wasn't needed. I can see her gratitude in her eyes. Oh, that's awesome. It's nothing really. You needed it. Nothing like a good bit of brie to cheer someone up. She giggles. It's a sweet, carefree sort of sound, and I'm glad to have heard it. I glance at my watch. There's still a quarter hour or so left to lunch. What are you going to do till next period? After a second's pause, she reaches into her bag and pulls out a few CDs, and points in the direction of the library. Ah, you're returning then? She nods. Well, I've got nothing else going on. I'll come with. Anna smiles immediately at this. This is so adorable! I have expected her to be hesitant about it, but I'm glad that I'm glad that turned out not to be the case. Yes. She slides her notebook and the CDs back into her bag, and we get up and head towards the library. When we get there, Anna makes a beeline for the desk, sliding the CDs straight into a returns tray before the librarian has even noticed her presence. She then makes for the music shelves, glancing back at me to make sure I'm still with her. What time period does this take place in? They still have CDs? At all? She disappears into a row before I can catch up, and by the time I've rounded the corner of the shelf, she's already at the other end of the aisle, browsing the CDs, and already looking disappointed. Do they have any chiasm? I glance at the shelves as I approach. Nothing new? She sighs, shaking her head. How often do they get new stuff in anyway? This all looks pretty old. I mean, why would they buy copies of this? I gesture towards the same ghastly-looking CD I'd been caught looking at last time. Anna laughs silently, then waves her hand in the direction of the wall behind me. I turn and see she's pointing at the small poster on the notice board. Oh, this is all donated. She rolls her eyes exasperatedly, her nostrils flaring. Close enough, then points down at the lower rows. They're filled with children's CDs, nursery rhymes, soundtracks for cartoons, that sort of thing. All gathering dust. I laugh. Why do they bother even keeping that stuff on the shelves? It doesn't look like they've ever been taken out. She rolls her eyes again, shrugging, then looks thoughtful. Finally, she seems to decide that this thought is too complex for simple gestures and pulls out her notebook again. The note she shows me says, "Cheap way to fill the shelves, I guess. Looks good in photos." Then she writes something else. "Can be cool though. Wouldn't have all those hidden gems if this was all new stock. It's kind of like being in a second-hand shop." That's about as positive a way of looking at it as I can imagine. She nods lazily at me, telling me about it. I love the fact that they're doing this non-verbal communication type thing. The way they're handling it, they describe her gesture and then have like the interpretation or the thing, the way that Erik interprets the gesture. Non-verbal communication. It's great. Love it. Love this game! Taking one last look back at the shelves, she sighs morosely again. Then she walks away and pulls out a chair at a nearby table, slumping theatrically into it and placing her chin decisively on her hand. After a second, I take the seat opposite her, thinking for a second. Why don't you just get some online? She gives me a slightly pitying look, as one might give a child who just asks why one very far away cow is small. Wait, what? Shit. As one might give a child who just asks why one very far away cow is smaller than another, much closer cow. Oh my god, that is the most condescending sentence I've ever heard. But it's hilarious, and I love it. What? It can't be that hard to find some old, obscure albums. With another withering look, she once again pulls out her notebook, writing a short note and sliding it across the table. That's not the point. Clearly I look puzzled, so she pulls it back, writes a little more, and shows me again. "It's no fun if I look for them. It has to be a discovery." Oh, okay, that's cool. Oh! Right. I don't get... Oh my god! I love Erik, but he can be thick as a brick sometimes. Yet another exasperated look. Yeah. Though this time with a small smile. Before she gets a chance to write anything else, though, the bell rings for the end of lunch. For a moment, Anna looks disappointed. Perhaps she was looking forward to ridiculing my lack of appreciation for the delights of discovering obscure records. Or perhaps she enjoyed spending lunch with me. Who knows? Regardless, her expression quickly changes to a closed-mouthed grimace, as she shrugs, sliding the chair away from the table and standing. She looks at me expectantly. I'm becoming familiar with that. Par for the course when you spend a lot of time with someone who requires you to do 100% of the talking, I suppose. Or, well, 99.9% of the talking. She did say "I" a half hour ago. I get up too. Shot by this lunch break, didn't it? We should do it again sometime. She smiles. Glad I suggested that. I've got, I check my timetable. Geography next, with Professor Oshner. She snickers mischievously, her eyes twinkling a little. Yeah, okay, I know. Are you going that way? She shakes her head, looking slightly put out. Oh, well, I better get moving then. See you around, Anna. She gives me a small wave as I head towards the door. Just before passing through, I glance over my shoulder, expecting to see Anna taking one more look at the music shelf or something, but instead, she's watching me go. Aw, that's sweet. One more quick wave and I'm gone. Oh, hello there, Erik. Jean calls out my name, causing me to snap out of my thoughts. Oh, hey there, Jean. What's up? Well, I just saw you walking this way and figured I'd say hello. How are your classes? Everything going okay? Honestly, if it weren't for her uniform, I would have mistook her for a teacher. Her dedication to tutoring is something else. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. These notes you gave me have been helpful so far. Great. Well, you just let me know if you need any more. I've got plenty. Sounds good. I'll see you around then. Goodbye. I'm honestly kind of impressed that Jean's been so diligent at checking in on me. She's so nice about it too, even if I haven't been going to her tutoring sessions. Maybe I should go to more of them. Maybe next playthrough, or the playthrough after that. Half an hour or so into blankly staring at my computer screen, a beeping sound tears me away. My phone. Gustav. Where did I put my phone? A few seconds of scrambling around the room, it dawns on me and I reach into the pocket of the trousers I changed out of an hour ago. It's Beatrice. Who the fuck is Beatrice? Oh, that's his sister. Hello? Erik, hey! What's up? Okay, so Hilda is making me call you to let you know that we're coming down for the open house this weekend. Mom and Dad can't make it, I'm sure they've already told you that. Are you okay with Hilda and I being your parents for the day? They'll be none the wiser, I'm sure. She laughs. Great, we'll be there Sunday? What time are we getting there? I hear a voice in the background, but I assume it's probably Hilda answering Beatrice's question. We should be there late in the afternoon, probably closer to dinner. Okay. Great, see you then. I couldn't pronounce dinner for some reason. Shit, I need more drinks. Great, see you then. Again, Hilda speaks up in the background, but I can't make out what she says. Alright, how are you doing? This week was pretty good, actually. I described for a little while how classes have been going, how I've gotten used to the campus, and the new friends I've managed to make. There's also plenty I leave out for now, stuff that feels like it ought to be talked about in person, or maybe not at all. Honestly, I feel glad that someone from my family is coming. I figured that my parents probably wouldn't be able to make it. While disappointing, Dad's been extremely busy as of late. Insert fucking dad meme here. Besides, I didn't get to hang out with my sisters in Vienna when I first came to visit, so this will be a nice change of pace. Okay, so we'll see you this weekend. We can't wait to see you, Erik. Great! Okay, good night. She hangs up, letting me get back to my idle internet browsing. Porn? Looking up porn? You're in high school, of course you're looking up porn. Okay, that's enough for now. I spent the last hour or so scrolling up and down the same couple of web pages. Porn! Absorbing precisely none of the information on them. Time to call it quits. Ashner's homework can wait until tomorrow. Maybe the day after. I switch off the PC and get up. Then, stretching and yawning deeply, I head to the bathroom to brush my teeth and shower. When I get back to my room, my eyes are drawn to my phone, which I left on the bedside table. The notification light is flashing. I have a feeling about who it's going to be before I pick it up, which is quickly confirmed. Anna. I haven't seen her all day. Not that that's necessarily unusual, but I wonder what it is she could want. It occurs to me that for most people I might assume they were just messaging me to chat and be social, but this isn't the first assumption I made for Anna. It's probably bad of me to assume like that, isn't it? I open up her message. Hey. Hi, Anna. I reply, reconsidering my previous assumption. How's it going? Yep, I guess I was wrong. She's taking her time to get to the point if she does have some type of objective here. Maybe she's just being polite? Yeah, it's okay. I just got done with not managing to actually do any homework. She replies right away. Same. I got loads not done. Another message follows a few seconds later. Sorry for being so dumb yesterday. What do you mean? I'm stumped by this. I don't remember Anna doing anything at all dumb. I take a second or two to think about to yesterday's lunchtime, trying to remember exactly what we spoke about, but don't remember anything that seems worthy of an apology. I can't think of anything to say in reply but to ask what she's talking about. Hey, there's no need to apologize, mainly because I don't remember you doing anything dumb. What happened? Another very quick reply. Oh, never mind then. I retract that apology. It's hard to tell if she's being serious or not, but my phone quickly buzzes again. I just meant dragging you out of the lunch. Oh, no. Don't be sorry about that. I just meant dragging you out of lunch to tell you about how I was worried about nothing. No, don't be sorry. I never thought negatively about that for even a moment, honestly. I don't mind. And I think for a second before sending another. It was nice to spend lunch with you. Aww. This reply takes a little longer to arrive. It was nice, wasn't it? Wow, she used a comment and everything. I feel honored. But I shouldn't be sarcastic about. It was nice to hear. Or nice to read, at any rate. We should do it again. Yeah. So apparently I'm completely on Anna's route. What the fuck did I do to get on her route? Fuck it. Quiet girl. Whatever. This reply, like the others, came with virtually no delay. I swear I couldn't type that quickly on a phone, no matter how enthusiastic I was. She must have had a lot of practice. But then her replies also seem much more brief compared to mine, and more lazily typed. I should try it. Cool. I wait a few moments, but nothing. Should I turn it up a notch? I decide that yes, I should. Let's go to a tiki bar. What are you up to? Okay, well, I mean, that's okay too, I guess. This time the reply is once again almost immediate. Erik. Then a second later, another one. Stop it. I've been rumbled. I thought it would take at least Hold on, did I miss something? I thought it would take at least another few messages for you to catch on. It takes practice, you can't just... Oh, that's it. He just said, I should try it. Wow, I can't believe I fucking missed that. It takes practice, you can't just turn off auto-capitalization and expect to be a pro immediately. Apparently not. I wonder why she bothers to type that way. Honestly, it feels like it would be more effort to me. This isn't the time to ask, though, as I can already feel my eyelids drooping, and I don't want the bright blue light from my phone to upset my circadian rhythm, whatever that is. I stopped reading the article about it before I got into full explanation. I switch the phone into silent mode and lay it down on my bedside table, then carelessly pull off my clothes and fall into bed. My head, naturally, now being the time when I might most want it to be quiet and calm, fills with thoughts immediately. Often the thoughts are not of anything in particular, not even necessarily of the things that I can comprehend, just an unpleasant buzzing that keeps me awake a lot of nights. Usually there is something climbing related floating about in the melee of thoughts, but this time it isn't so. Instead, my head is filled with the thoughts of the exchange I just had with Anna. This is unusual for me. I'm not normally one to worry too much about the things I've just said to someone. After a few seconds of trying to process these thoughts, I realize their cause, and I pick up my phone again, holding it precariously above my face and opening up the Messages app before quickly typing something out. I have to go to sleep, really tired. Good night. I'm not normally one to treat text messages as though they were real conversations, and wouldn't normally bother saying goodnight if I'd only exchanged a few messages. For some reason, though, this time it felt wrong not to. Anna replies right away. Night, Erik. Sleep well. She's adorable. I linger on this message for a few seconds before, dropping the phone onto my face. Smooth. Fucking smooth. Why do they make them so slippery? I lift it back up and realize I've sent another message with my nose. Very good. Of all the messages I've sent, this is the one that garners the longest delay in reply from Anna. Perhaps she's already put her phone down? Nonetheless, maybe 20 seconds later, a reply comes. You dropped your phone in your face, didn't you? How did she know? I decided to leave the mystery open and replace my phone on the bedside table again. This time when I lay my head upon the pillow, the whirlwind of anxious thoughts is much less intrusive. Virtually non-existent, even. I suspect I may not get a dreamless sleep tonight, but I am sure that the dreams I do have will be good ones. You know what? I'm actually perfectly okay with Anna being my first route in this game, because I identify with her a lot, having social anxiety myself when I was in high school, actually most of my life. It's also really fun. I'm really enjoying these interactions that we have with her, so you know what? That's fine. Thursday rolls around, the final day of prep for the festival. A young, more foolish me had promised to help Ella with her workload. That Erik is dead to me now. In front of us is a mound of decorations large enough for several far more legitimate holidays, arranged in a semi-organized manner that only serves to make it somehow more intimidating. This is my favorite part! Getting to see all our hard work come together is what makes it all worth it. Ella gazes at the assorted piles of decorations and advertisements like a kid let loose on Christmas. Isolde and I just see more work, but at least it's the last of it. So we just need to put all this stuff up, right? Is this all of it? No, just the new stuff. We keep some of last year's decorations in storage, so we're going to need to grab that before we get started. There's more? How big is this gala? Bigger than last year. Come on, I'm going to need a hand moving it all. I groan. This is going to be a bigger pain than I had expected. Minutes later, Ella has roped a security guard into accompanying us on our mission, twirling around his finger the most old-timey keyring I've ever seen. A huge metal loop, big enough to fit around his wrist, jangling with rusty keys from long before any of us were born. Fishing through some of them for what feels like an eternity, he finally unlocks a door that probably hasn't seen use since last year, and a fluorescent light flickers to life above a scattered assortment of old equipment in cardboard boxes. Ella wastes no time in dragging a few of the boxes to the door for Isolde and I to carry, explaining all the while. Of course, this isn't just about the students, you know. A lot of families and acquaintances will be there visiting, and it's important to show them that the students of St. Divnaz are living normal, healthy lives here. I'm not sure how I feel about my life being used as an advertisement. I glance at Isolde for her reaction, but she's as hard to read as ever. I saw her eyelids droop slightly, which is just one reason why it's so important we make this as great as it can be. Besides, these are exactly the kind of school memories I want everyone to leave here with, you know? The kind I like, anyway. It takes a little doing, but at the end of the week, you're left with an experience you'll never forget, like a reward for all our hard work. There's not much to say in the face of this kind of fanaticism, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't envy her enthusiasm a bit. Ella has a spring in her step, and within minutes, half a dozen boxes of banners, posters, fabric, and paper ornaments are stacked before us. That should be everything. Now all we have to do is bring this back and put all of it up, and we'll be finished. By tonight! That seems ambitious. Ella's smile is unchanged, but her eyes offer an apology. Well, yes, but doable, I promise. Are you expecting any more help? Is there a student council that's supposed to oversee this? Ella hefts a box off the floor, taking a moment to answer. Isolde and I follow suit, and we begin hauling our cargo back the way we came. Yes, technically, but in practice I kind of ended up spearheading the whole thing. After all, they did put together practically all of the outdoor components. Ah, what about faculty? Strictly speaking, the gala only officially takes place in the main hall and courtyard, which have been finished. I'm sort of in charge of everything outside of that. Isn't that most of the school? Got the last one. You You've really got to work on your perception, Eric. I'm not even trying to be stealthy here. Irene's so good! At some point, Irene had gotten behind our little group, and true enough, carrying a stack of two boxes, craning her head around to the side to see where she was going. Irene, it's always nice to see you. I feel like there's more than one way of interpreting that. I heard you guys were drowning, so I figured I'd throw you a rope. I wouldn't say drowning. Irene shoves the two boxes she was carrying on top of the one already in my arms before hefting a different box larger than the last two together. She's either incredibly strong for her size or the box is full of streamers. Both seem equally plausible. Of course you wouldn't. Eric, are you drowning? Burble glub glub. Yeah, sounds about right. Ella scowls at me and I offer a shrug in return. Eric, you are very endearing. So, what are we doing with all this stuff? Irene seems unfazed by the Herculean task set before us. Well, I've sorted it into piles based on location. Over here is hallways, over here there's classrooms, we've got exterior decorations, and miscellaneous pile here. 4 piles, 4 of us. I work better with direction. Working in a group also raises morale. Really? Not gonna jump on the exterior decorations pile? Because there's no point in hiding decorations. How dare you insult Easter? Irene? I'm not going to hide anything, Ella. I'm here to help, not ruin everything. Thank you. I am taking that pile, though. Let's get everything else done first. No arguments here. I'm trying to differentiate the voices, but I can't, so I'm sorry. Before long, a sort of unspoken chain of command is established, with Ella delegating tasks to Isolde and I while Irene transports materials. I'd say we make a good team, except that I could be replaced by literally anyone with a functioning pair of legs to much greater effect. Aside from a desk job, there aren't many tasks I'm well suited for these days. Gives me more time to move stuff. Was alright, Irene said on the topic. It's hard to know when people are just being polite, but Irene doesn't seem the sort to sugarcoat anything, and the idea of Ella thinking negatively is weird and alien. I can't tell if Isolde has noticed. Even so, progress is made, and the daunting pile of what I'm assured are the best moments of my high school life slowly shrinks as night descends. It's almost 8 o'clock before Ella stops the group, only the exterior decorations pile left. In her defense, the school really does look good at this point. I'm a little too tired to be proud of it, but it looks good. Alright, thank you all so much for helping. I would have been here all night getting all this put up. We're not done yet though, unless Irene wants to put up all the outdoor banners herself. I let it end in a question, hoping against hope that Irene will accept the ludicrous proposal. Sure. Damn, so much for... Wait, what? I've got it. No big deal. Are you sure? Having actually received what I wished for, I'm suddenly faced with the moral consequences of leaving Irene holding the bag, and it doesn't feel good. It's fine, Erik. You two have done more than enough tonight. Irene and I can take it from here. Isolde looks to me for some hint as to whether or not to accept this generosity, but I'm just as unsure. Irene, however, has other plans. Ella, that includes you. I've got this. You should get some sleep. Irene, wait. There's no way you can get that done by yourself. Sure there is. You do this sort of thing every day, don't you? Not quite this much. Look, I don't plan on waking up any earlier than I have to anyway. I know for a fact that you're going to be out the door at sunrise. If you were out there the whole time, you'd be dead on your feet tomorrow. That's not fair to you. You've been working overtime all week. This is more than fair. Glancing over, Isolde has a look of mild panic, one I absolutely sympathize with. In minutes, this has become a generosity arms race. But I volunteered, not you. It's my responsibility. And now I'm volunteering, so it's mine. There's a pleading note to Ella's voice now. But you hate this sort of thing. So imagine how serious I must be about this. Go to bed, Ella. I've only heard this from Irene once before, a stern tone that brooks no argument. I'm not sure if she even remembers Isolde and I are here at this point. Ella shifts her weight uncomfortably from foot to foot, clearly unhappy with Irene's proposition, but with no obvious way of avoiding it. Somehow, it's as if their roles have completely reversed. Irene sighs, softening a little. Half an hour. You can help me for half an hour, and if you're not going to listen at that point, I really will make you do it all yourself. Deal? Deal. So... what about us? Like Ella said, you've done plenty. Don't worry about us. This sort of workload is nothing new. Okay, then I guess we'll head out. If there's anything else you guys need tomorrow, let me know. I sincerely hope they don't, but I've got to offer. Absolutely. Thank you again for your help, Erik, Isolde. Irene gives an odd little salute in lieu of a goodbye, already turning to start on her next task. Isolde waits until I start walking away before following, quiet as ever. Well, that was odd. I think that's normal for them. Is it? I guess you've known them longer. Jean says Ella works too hard. I think so too. Maybe Irene thinks the same thing. Seems that way. At least someone is looking out for her. Isolde nods. The rest of the walk is spent in silence until we reach the point where our paths diverge. I know they already said it, but thanks for helping. I realize I'm not exactly cut out for this sort of thing. That's okay, neither am I. She offers a strained smile, seemingly unsure what expression she ought to make. You did just fine, though. We got a lot done thanks to you. Okay. I mean it! You were really helpful. Okay. Okay. Well, basically, yeah. If you say so. I might be here all night at this rate. Better to stop here and hope for the best. I do. Tell Jean I said hi the next time you see her. Until then. Isolde offers another nod and flees at a pace just short of jogging, as though my dismissal was the starting pistol for a one-woman race. I really ought to ask Jean how not to scare Isolde. Well, might as well finish up any little bits of homework I have left. God damn it! What?
Self-voicing disabled.
Fuck you. I hear voices in my head. As I approach the doors to the boys' dorms, my phone buzzes in my pocket. For a moment, I consider waiting until I got inside and had a shower before looking at it. I'm tired, sweaty, and really don't want to think about much else at this point. Gustav! Something tells me I should at least check, though, and so I pull out my phone. Hey, oh, Anna. So mysterious. Not certain what to say, I reply with a simple message. Hi, Anna. I want to get more drunk. So, I think I'm going to call it here, because I want to get more alcohol, and I can tell my addiction is slipping. So, yes! This is going to be our stopping point. That was really overly...